Ampetu. Hello, friends and relatives. My name is Ryan Little Eagle. I'm a Native American singer-songwriter, and I want to thank you for tuning in to my second episode of the Storyteller sessions. This is a story I really wanted to tell about the Bison and how they came to the Lakota people. Granted, there are multiple stories, but this was one particular I was told by my uncle. And, you know, being out here in Custer, being among these relatives is amazing. But I want to put a disclaimer out there. As you can hear these wild donkeys behind me out near these bison, as well as probably some of the prairie dogs chirping. When you see these animals, please give them distance. Do not approach them. Do not try to pet them. Do not try to ride them. Show them proper respect as you would any of your relatives or your own family. You know, a lot of people don't show that respect, and because of that, they end up getting hurt. So disclaimer, don't pet the fluffy cow at any of the parks. But anyways, refraining from that disclaimer, I wanted to tell this story to really kind of show our relationship to the bison and why we were so synonymous with them. You know, I was once told John Lame Deer had a quote, "So go the bison, so go the way of the Lakota." And, you know, I understand that, especially from our stories. This is a story I tell a lot over at Tatanka, and well, I hope you enjoy it. It starts about a time long before the horse came to the people, and we were living here on the high prairie, hunting the antelope, hunting the elk, kind of living with our relations around us. But you see, man thought they were all powerful. They were more powerful than the animals, more powerful than the plants. They didn't show proper respect or honor. And so the animals were getting tired of it, and they had enough. So they said to man, "Okay, you're all powerful. Good luck surviving without us." And so they left. You could not find the deer, and you could not find the elk, and the birds had all flown away. And then the plants began to dry up. A great drought came, and here we were, a people on the brink of survival, suffering from famine and starvation. Well, one day that wind that you see often across this prairie started blowing. It came from the hills onto the prairie, roaring and wild. It took that buffalo grass around us and made it into a raging river, threatening to consume us. And then the ground started shaking. The Wankians, the thunder beings, were coming, making their presence known. A great storm was headed towards us. Now we as a people managed to seek shelter, and we hid in the caves of Unchimaka, Grandmother Earth. But the storm came blowing through and destroyed our villages, destroyed our homes. We as a people survived, but who were we? Hungry, starving, our home now gone. The people were struggling. It looked pretty bleak. The people had lost a lot of hope. They were broken almost. Unsure of what to do, they just lowered their heads and put one foot in front of the other and just kept walking. Well, in this cave, as they were leaving, there was a young woman who watched her relatives. She watched her family and saw in their faces that look of despair. She saw where the tears were welling in their eyes and creating new trails upon their face. She saw the young ones crying to the old ones because they were so hungry. She saw the old ones getting sick and weak. It was heartbreaking to her, as she herself felt feeble and useless. But not because of what the people were going through. It's because she could not help her relatives. Heartbroken, she began to shed tears. And it was said in her tears is when her heart spoke. And it spoke pure and true that day. She raised her voice to the Tankashila. And raising her voice to the Tankashila, she prayed for guidance and compassion and love, but not for herself, but for her people. See, she was willing to do anything, give up anything, whatever it took to bring strength back to her people. And so it was said, because she came in that good way, her prayer was heard and answered, and she was turned into the first of the bison. And then there were many of her kind. When they came out of the caves onto the plains, and the people saw them, hope had been given back. You see, life is an interesting journey, and there are many lessons to be learned. In this particular story, we learned a hard lesson about humility. Here we thought we were all powerful, more powerful than everything around us. Yet we could not survive without our relatives. We could not survive without the plants and the animals. And then we learned about compassion. It was the compassion of that young woman, her compassion for her family, love for her family and her people, and the compassion of her new relatives, the Bison, that led to the people existing today. Without the Bison, the Lakota people would not be here. And you know, I always say, life, it's peaks and it's valleys. And sometimes you have to go through those valleys to truly appreciate the peaks. Well, we went through a very, very hard valley, but it taught us a new appreciation, a new gratitude for these relatives behind me, the Bison. You see, that's why when we hunted the Bison as Lakota people, we never let anything go to waste. We used the hooves, we used the horn caps, the bladder, the stomach, the fur, we used all of it. And it was because of instances like this story. Now, I hope you enjoyed that one. It's one of my favorite stories to tell and to truly learn kind of where we come from, you know. As I said, those peaks and valleys, man, a whole appreciation. And hearing these stories teaches me not only a new appreciation for my family and my relatives, but as well as for my relatives around me, these animals, you know. I truly feel more connected. But again, I want to say thank you. Subscribe to this channel. Continue to support the series. I'm going to try to get some more going in different places. Again, thank you for tuning in. Until our paths cross again. Tokshaake.